All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the world of AI in business.
Which, let's be honest, feels like it's everywhere you turn these days, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Is the buzzword on everyone's lips. But it's also one of those things that can feel a little overwhelming, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where do you even start?
Especially if you're not, like, a tech whiz.
Exactly. But that's why I'm so excited about our deep dive today, because we're taking a look at Sol Rashidi's book, Your AI Survival Guide. And let me tell you, this is not your typical AI book.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's not just theory and jargon. Sol's been in the trenches, she's a C-suite leader herself, and she's giving us the battle-tested, no-nonsense guide to AI.
Right, and that's what I love about it. It's practical. Sauls holds nothing back. She tells it like it is, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Totally.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really jumped out at me was her concept of the rogue executive.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right. It sounds kind of daring, a little bit rebellious.
It definitely caught my eye.
But it's basically about challenging those old ways of thinking, pushing for innovation, even when it feels a little uncomfortable.
But sometimes you have to make real progress.
Exactly. And Sol even talks about how she used this rogue approach to push through an automation project that was facing resistance.
Oh, I remember that story. It just goes to show that even with the most cutting-edge AI solution, you're going to hit roadblocks.
Because people can be resistant to change.
Right. Big time. And Sol had to get creative to get everyone on board, understanding their concerns, being meticulous with her documentation, and communicating clearly every step of the way.
So it's not enough to be a tech visionary. You have to be a leader who can bring people along on the AI journey.
100%. That's what sets the truly successful AI implementations apart.
Absolutely. Now, I want to dig a little deeper into this rogue executive idea. What are some practical things our listeners can do to cultivate that mindset?
Well, one thing Sol talks about that I found super helpful is looking for what she calls copy and paste factories in your business.
Copy and paste factories. Okay, tell me more.
So think about those areas where your team is bogged down by tedious, manual, repetitive tasks, things that could be automated, but for whatever reason are still being done the old-fashioned way.
I think we can all picture a team or a process that fits that description.
Right. And once you start to identify those areas, it's about having the courage to ask why. Why are we still doing this manually? Could AI help us do it better, faster, more efficiently?
It's about challenging those assumptions, those we've always done it this way mentality.
Exactly. And it's about being willing to experiment, to pilot new ideas, and yes, even to make mistakes along the way.
Because AI is not one size fits all.
Not at all. What works for one company might not work for another. And that's why it's so important to find the right AI strategy for your specific business needs.
And speaking of strategy, that's where I think Sol's book is pure gold, especially for business leaders.
Yeah.
She goes beyond the vague use AI and outlines 5 distinct AI strategies.
Which is so important because it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You need the right tool for the job.
I love that analogy. So walk us through these strategies. Let's start with efficiency. What's that all about?
Okay, so imagine you're mowing the lawn, right? Efficiency is your basic push mower. It's about automating those simple, repetitive tasks. Think data entry, invoice processing, stuff like that.
Okay, so efficiency is about getting those basic tasks off your plate. Makes sense. But what if you want to level up your lawn game, so to speak?
Then you step up to the productivity strategy. Now you're rocking the riding mower. You're still focused on efficiency, but you're adding a layer of optimization. It's about helping people work smarter and faster.
Can you give us a concrete example of what that might look like in a business setting?
Sure. Think about your marketing team using AI to analyze customer data and personalize their campaigns. They're still doing the work, but the AI is their co-pilot, helping them get better results faster.
Okay, so efficiency is the push mower. Productivity is the riding mower. What about effectiveness? Where does that fit in?
Effectiveness is like having that high-end lawnmower with all the bells and whistles. You're not just cutting the grass, you're meticulously manicuring it. It's about precision, quality, making sure you're not just doing things faster, but you're doing the right things more effectively.
So using AI to fine-tune and optimize, even when things seem pretty good already.
Exactly. It's about achieving a level of excellence. Like, imagine a company using AI to analyze their supply chain to identify bottlenecks and optimize inventory management. They're already doing well, but AI helps them squeeze out even more efficiency and effectiveness.
So it's like taking something that's already working well and making it even better.
Precisely. It's about that pursuit of excellence in everything you do. Now let's talk about growth, because this is where things get really interesting.
This is where we break out the AI-powered drone to, like, analyze our lawn's health and identify new growth opportunities,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. With a growth strategy, you're not just trying to do things better, you're trying to do entirely new things, unlock new opportunities, expand into new markets, even create entirely new products or services.
It's like using AI to not just improve what you're doing, but to completely transform your business.
Exactly. It's about pushing those boundaries and seeing what's possible when you bring AI into the mix.
That's so exciting. But it also sounds like it could be a bit more, I don't know, risky than the
Yeah,
other strategies we've talked about.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Growth-focused AI strategies often involve a higher level of complexity. They might require more data, more sophisticated algorithms, and a deeper understanding of both the technology and your specific industry.
So you're not just dipping your toes in the water anymore. You're diving into the deep end.
Exactly. And that's why it's generally a good idea to have some experience with those earlier strategies. Those early wins will give you the confidence and the momentum to tackle the bigger, bolder growth initiatives.
So it's like building up to that, right? You don't start with the most complex thing.
Exactly. You need those early wins to prove the value of AI, to build that internal momentum. Then you can start thinking about those game-changing growth strategies.
Makes sense. Now, there's one more strategy we need to cover, right? The expert-based strategy.
Right. And this one is fascinating because it's about using AI to not just automate tasks, but to actually replicate human expertise.
Okay, now we're talking. That sounds incredible. What does that look like in practice?
Think about a doctor diagnosing a disease or a lawyer giving legal advice. Expert-based AI systems are designed to reach that same level of proficiency.
Wow, that's a game changer. And I'm guessing the applications are pretty much endless.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine having an AI system that could write code as well as a senior software engineer, or analyze financial data with the accuracy of a seasoned accountant.
The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing. But it also makes you think about the potential impact on jobs and the workforce in general.
Right, which is a valid concern. But Sol's perspective, and I tend to agree, is that AI should be used to augment human capabilities, not to replace humans entirely.
So it's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together, each playing to their strengths.
No, exactly. Freeing up humans from those repetitive tasks so we can focus on higher level thinking, creativity, problem solving.
I like that AI as a collaborator, not a competitor.
Right. It's about leveraging the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So we've got our 5 AI strategies, each one with its own unique approach and benefits. It's like having a roadmap for navigating the AI landscape, which can feel pretty overwhelming otherwise.
Totally. But I think some of our listeners might still be wondering where to even begin. Like, okay, this all makes sense, but what's my first step?
Right, and Sol addresses that too. She has this great framework. Think big, start small, scale quickly.
Okay, I like that. It's like, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress, right?
Exactly. You want to have a big, ambitious vision for how AI can transform your business, but you don't want to get bogged down trying to do everything at once.
So start with something manageable. Prove the value.
Yeah.
Then worry about scaling it up.
Exactly. And that initial success is key. It shows everyone, your team, your stakeholders, even your board, that AI isn't just some abstract concept. It works, it delivers results, and it's worth investing in.
It's about building that confidence and excitement around AI, right?
100%. Those early wins are crucial. Now, when it comes to choosing that first use case, Sol has this really helpful tool, the criticality versus complexity quadrant.
Okay, now you've piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this quadrant.
So imagine a graph, right? One axis is criticality. How important is this use case to your business? What kind of impact would a successful implementation have? And the other axis is complexity. How difficult would it be to implement this use case? How much time, resources, and expertise would it require?
So ideally, you're looking for that sweet spot, high impact, low complexity.
You got it. Sol gives a great example in the book about a sales team. Let's say you're thinking about automating post-meeting notes or automating presentation creation.
Right.
Both could be valuable, right?
For sure. Who hasn't spent way too much time crafting the perfect follow-up email after a sales call?
Exactly. But when you plot them on the quadrant, you might find that automating those post-meeting notes is a bit less complex than automating presentation creation. So even though both could be beneficial, automating notes might be the better place to start. Get that quick win, build momentum, and then you can tackle the more complex use cases.
Makes sense. It's about picking your battles, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to bite off more than you can chew, especially when you're just getting started with AI.
Exactly. Focus on those quick wins, build that internal excitement, and then you can start to think bigger. But there's one more thing I want to touch on before we wrap up. Something that Sol emphasizes throughout the book.
Oh, and it's a big one, right? We're talking about the human in the loop concept.
Exactly. It's so important. And Sol tells a great story in the book that really illustrates this point. It's about a company that was using AI to generate marketing content.
I think I remember this one. This is where it gets a little scary, doesn't it? Like AI gone rogue.
A little bit. So this company, they're using AI to write articles and marketing copy, but they're not really reviewing the output very carefully.
Hmm.
And one day, they publish an article about Sol and her husband.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, let's just say that AI took some creative liberties with the truth. It described her husband as this, adventurous, outdoorsy type.
Which I'm guessing he's not.
Not at all. Apparently, he's more of a homebody, so it was pretty embarrassing for everyone involved.
That's hilarious, but also a good reminder that AI is still a tool. And like any tool, it can be misused or it can make mistakes.
Exactly. And that's why the human in the loop is so crucial. It's about having that human oversight, that human judgment to make sure the AI is being used ethically and responsibly.
So what does that look like in practice? Do we need to have humans review every single thing the AI produces?
It depends on the specific use case. In some cases, yeah, you might need that human approval process. But in other cases, it might be more about setting the right parameters for the AI, providing feedback, and making sure it's aligned with your values and goals.
It's about finding that balance, right, between the power of AI and the wisdom of human judgment.
Absolutely. It's about using both to your advantage, leveraging the best of both worlds. This has been such a great conversation. I feel like Sol's book really cuts through the hype and gives us a practical roadmap for navigating the AI landscape.
Me too. I'm walking away with so many great insights. I know I'm going to be thinking about those 5 AI strategies and that criticality versus complexity quadrant as I start to explore AI in my own work. What about you? What are some of your key takeaways?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that AI is not something to be afraid of. It's a tool that can help us achieve amazing things. But we need to approach it strategically and responsibly. We can't just throw technology at a problem and hope for the best. We need to be thoughtful about how we're using it and what impact it's having.
Couldn't agree more. It's about working with AI, not against it. And it's about remembering that ultimately, it's up to us, the humans, to shape the future of AI and make sure it's a future that benefits everyone.
Well,
This deep dive has been packed with so many valuable insights, but sadly, we're out of time for today.